Hello, class. Well, I'm coming to you today from my back porch. I wanted to share out here with you today, and this is demonstrating some of the beauty of online learning, that you can enjoy the beautiful outdoors, God's creation, and also learn from the comforts of your own home. So today I want to talk to us as we head into week 4 and go over your assignments with you. I trust everything is going well thus far. First of all, I want to remind you about your final exegesis paper that will be due the last of class. This week, you are to put together a sentence outline. And I want to just encourage you, rather than be redundant, just follow the instructions, and it would benefit you to view the sample outline there that is listed. You have 2 threaded discussions this week that I think are so beautiful and pertinent to share, and they are found in 1 John. The first one is dealing with Cain, and is found in 1 John chapter 3, verses really 11 through 18, and it talks about Cain and his life. And you might wonder, how does Cain relate to this New Testament example of the community of John? Well, without trying to share all of your work, I want to just encourage you to remember that we are to love one another. Cain's relationship with Abel was with 2 naturally born brothers. But this relates also to us, not only in our natural family, but in our spiritual family, with our spiritual brothers and sisters, that we are to love one another, and how relevant this is for us today. As you know, the fruit of the Spirit is love. Even all of the fruit of the Spirit can be summed up and are manifested. The base of it, the root of it, is love. And when we think about this, love in the sense of the fruit of the Spirit is best manifested when hatred abounds. And so therefore, therefore, John is saying there's hatred around you. There's hatred all surrounding you in the world as a believer. Therefore, do not respond to hatred with hatred. Respond to hatred with the fruit of love. This is vital for us. Then in verse 12, he tells us, remember, they don't hate you. They hate the God that's in you. And oh, how we need to feel that today when people come against us. They don't hate you. They hate the God that is in you. So may this be an encouragement to you when you're dealing with people that disagree with your stands, your biblical stands, your stands on holiness, and your doctrinal beliefs. Remember, many times it's not you that they hate. They're convicted by the Spirit of the Lord that is in you. So when you look at verse 13, and it tells about loving everyone, loving those who hate us, John is addressing not just that they are to love people out in the world, but they're facing that problem also among the believers there in the community. So they are to love their adversaries, or those that hate them, both outside of the church and inside of the church. So John addresses this. The second threaded discussion is concerning discernment. And when we look at this, we don't really know the actual form of worship that they had during that day, but there's enough evidence that lets us know that that worship and how it's revealed in the book of John is shown there, and that the gifts of the Spirit were operating, especially the gift of prophecy. And the problem there was John was having to address this because the deceivers were misusing the gifts of prophecy and possibly other gifts also. So this was involved in their worship service, that prophecy was being used. So, okay, the gifts of the Spirit are being operated. And that leads to the question, of the need for discernment. How important was discernment then? It was crucial. John gives an example. And also, it's asked us, how important is discernment for us today? I mean, this was needed in John's community as false prophets were coming in and sharing things. And so he gave an example in chapter 4, verses 1 through 3, to test the spirits. Well, that's good. How do you test them? And he gave the answer. And then he says, if you're going to test the spirits, the way to do them is by, if the person giving the prophecy or if their life backs it up, by them acknowledging that Christ has come in the flesh. Now that may seem like maybe a strange requirement to us today, but it was extremely important in John's day. He was dealing with the Gnostics who did not believe that Christ was come in the flesh, and so this was a true test to them. And of course, anyone that does not acknowledge Christ, they were to reject those prophecies and those words. You might say, well, we're not really dealing with Gnostics today in that sense, but yet there is a principle here that is so true. Anyone that does not acknowledge Jesus Christ, and it comes, and any prophecy, any gift, any work, any worship that runs contrary to the life and the words of Jesus Christ and the Word of God, and if the focus is not on Christ, and if the glory does not go to Christ, then those things should be rejected. I hope this is a little helpful for you, just my little insights. Wanted to speak to you today, and I hope this will encourage you in your work and you continue to learn. So as we leave today, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. God bless you. Call on me if you have any questions.